Go ahead on here and see if we are. Waiting and 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 waiting and
Yeah,
waiting
we're
and waiting.
waiting, bud.
I know. Hopefully it works. We probably are live right now. It just takes forever to finally get going. Probably because of the ads, because people are on it's like on ads and like it does that stuff. And well, I don't know if it's on an ad for my channel. All right, let's see. Hopefully it's gonna work here. Oh, we're live. There we go. We are live here. Okay. Gonna go ahead and send this to the big snap just in case anyone does not. Yes, allow paste. Alright. Well, looks like we are live here. Gonna kind of get everyone set, but we'll go ahead and get this stream here going. Alright. Well, as everyone's kind of coming in, welcome to the big one. Like last time was, but we are here. TreyDog Talks 2026 NFL season preview. Getting close to the NFL season. We got the Hall of Fame game tonight. Panthers and Cardinals. Taking place in Ohio.
Oh,
They got some get some backup action. We're joined here by Steven. Steven, say hello to the dog squad here.
hello, Dog Squad.
I got about to say lock in. All right. Steven, this is like your, third time, I think, joining a live stream? You've joined two March Madness live streams, past two stream, or, well, actually, last time wasn't a stream, but 2 times ago.
This is my fourth time.
Yeah, no, well, hold on. So, like I said, you didn't count last one because that was actually a video, but you did join us on the Cowboys stream that time when we played Cleveland, I think.
I did.
Yeah, that
With you and Jelly.
yeah, exactly. When he was on there. But we are here getting set for the TreyDog Talks version of the NFL version of TreyDog Talks. Hopefully you tuned in to the college football one with Travis on Monday night. We had a solid amount of views for that. We had a good amount of people that coming into the stream throughout the whole entire time for about an hour and a half. I think that was how long it went. Thank you everyone that joined. We're kind of getting people here on the stream. We're gonna kind of go over multiple things here today. Steven, I think it's time to go ahead and get rolling as people start kind of rolling in. Kind of give people some time. I'll be moving into college in a couple days. Steven does not move into Mizzou until when again?
We leave on the 19th, and I move in on the 20th.
There we go. Okay. That's how we do it. You don't even move in until after like a couple days after I start. That's the crazy part, because we start the 17th. So
It is.
all right, let's go ahead. Got TreyDog Talks
That's right.
2026 stream. Last year I remember was pretty good. We'll go ahead and get this started here for the NFL season. Okay, so in this show, we're going to preview every NFL team with the record prediction, standing, and playoff placement prediction. Now, this will be for me. Steven did not have his record predictions. Maybe next year he'll have them. I didn't ask him to do it. But he didn't have them this time. But maybe next year I can get him to maybe get them going, and so he can have them for the stream if he is willing to join it. But I will be going over mine, and then we'll have both of our award predictions after we go over each team briefly. And then we will have our playoff. I'll at least have my playoff predictions with with my Super Bowl 61 champ, and Steven will have his Super Bowl matchup and championship prediction. Now, Steven, you did say you do have your division winners. You said, right?
I sure do, and I have division placements too.
Okay, so he does have some certain stuff. So I guess Steven, whenever we go over, how are we gonna do this? I guess if when we go over each team, I guess you can just go ahead and say when it's your turn to talk about them, you'll go ahead and say if you know what place you have them in the division. But he doesn't have the record. He does not have the playoff placement for that. But we will go over that as we go. All right, we're gonna start off with the Buffalo Bills. 12-5, I have them first in the AFC East, and I have them as a 2 seed in the AFC playoffs. I think Buffalo is always going to be a relevant squad, especially with Josh Allen at the helm. Joe Brady coming in as the head coach for the Buffalo Bills this year after McDermott getting fired back in January. They've got now DJ Moore as an addition, so they do have at least some more help for Josh Allen. They have running back James Cook, who I drafted overall my first pick on fantasy. So I have him ranked 5th running back in the country when I did my running back video. The defense, so we all know about the offense being pretty good. This is going to be inside with the defense. How good will they be this year? In terms of how can they stay healthy. They've been a pretty good, much relevant defense in the past years, but they've always had their inconsistency issues, especially when it comes to the postseason. But I overall think the Buffalo Bills this year will be a good squad, like usual. We'll be seeing them week by week win a lot of games as the year goes. And I do think first in the AFC East, where they're going to come, I think they're going to take the division back. And I think they will have the 2 seed, and we'll go over that. And you will find out who the 1 seed is in just a little bit. Steven, what do we think about Buffalo coming in this year?
Oh, well, Buffalo's they're always a contender, throughout the 2020s. They've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride of the AFC. But coming in with a new coach and an offensive coach too will be certainly interesting to see with that team. They have one of the hardest strength of schedules in the league, so that's something to consider. But I like the new shaping up of this team with Joe Brady at the helm, and their defense is interesting, but I think their focal this year is going to be the offensive side of the ball and the playmaking of Josh Allen, who will be in the running for MVP, of course, and I might even pick him. I don't know. But you just have to stay tuned to see. But
yeah,
I do have them winning AFC East. I have them on the top of the AFC East.
Yeah, I do think that New England kind of had maybe a 1-year wonder with terms of being really good in the AFC East. Now, we'll go over New England in just a minute. I'm not saying they won't be good as terms of playoff contender, but I don't think they are a Super Bowl contender enough to beat up Buffalo. And speaking of New England, let's go ahead and go over them right now. Patriots, I have them in the playoffs, sitting at 10-7 with 2nd in the AFC East, 6th seed in the AFC playoffs. So I do have them coming back. They've got a harder of a schedule this year. So there's going to be the question, is Drake May going to live up to what he did last year? He's going to regress a bit. I think he's going to play some tougher defenses. But I still think he's going to be a pretty good quarterback that will help New England win good amount of games, will help them get 10 wins this year. I think now they don't have Diggs anymore, but the addition of A.J. Brown, as long as he doesn't start griping and not helping out the team like he did in Philadelphia, I think he can he can go back to being the good A.J. Brown. The running back room is always a question with them, or Mahandre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. Henderson's a very explosive running back that can make plays, and then you got Stevenson that looks like he maybe can show up, but I don't know if he is always capable of doing so. They've got a great defense, especially with corner of Christian Gonzalez. Hopefully, if he can stay healthy, which he has been, and last year he did a good amount of the time. I think he did all year last year, especially when it came down to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. He was really helping that Patriots defense become one of the best defenses in the league. But they are a very solid group squad that can make, especially with the head coach of Mike Vrabel. He's been able to turn this team around since he stepped foot in Foxborough. I like the Patriots, who they are. I'm not saying they're gonna. I do not think that they will be the same team as last year. But as you can see here, I do have them making the playoffs, sitting at a 6th seed, and maybe they'll make a Cinderella run or something. They're 10-7. I have them. Steven, what are we thinking about New England?
Well, yes, they're also my number 2 in the AFC East. That should be pretty obvious to many people. Yeah, they shook up the receiving core, adding A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs, but hey, that offense still looks really good to me. And
Mm-hmm.
Drake May leading it. It's not many quarterbacks in the league that I'd be more confident in than Drake May.
Yeah.
In the defensive side of the ball, I mean, they've got a killer secondary, so they're just gonna be good again. I think maybe not good enough to win the division, but yeah, like a fringe playoff team, and could definitely pull an upset come January.
Yeah, absolutely. They still got a good squad. I trust Mike Vrabel. And watch out, they're 6 seed in the playoffs. Mike Vrabel was a 6 seed with the Tennessee Titans, and they made the AFC title, almost beating the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes,
Would have
sir.
been one of the biggest Cinderella stories in NFL playoff history if they had made the Super Bowl, which it's still a pretty good run. So Mike Vrabel knows exactly how to make upsets in playoffs. Um, but we're going to have to see what Drake May and that New England team, how they perform then. Because a lot of the reliance was on the defense in the postseason. The offense just had to manage and make sure they didn't turn over the ball and make sure they could do at least enough. But this New England team, as you mentioned, Steven, is a very trusted and solid squad and very talented that can make noise. And I think they still are a playoff contender. Okay, now this division kind of gets to you have your playoff teams, and the weird thing about these next two teams is this is the garbage can. This is the terrible times for both teams. You're going all the way downhill to the third in the AFC East, the New York Jets, sitting them 2-15 with okay, they're third in the AFC East. Sorry, they're third, not fourth. They're third in the AFC East.
Let's go Jets! Come on.
Yeah, I understand they have some additions from the draft. I just don't know if I can trust Geno Smith after the performance last year, especially him being on New York. And he didn't really do much last time he was there. He's getting older. He's not as reliable anymore. Garrett Wilson, I don't know if I can trust him to stay healthy. Brees Hall, I think he's kind of, I think he's good, but I think he's overrated kind of because he's kind of gets value when he doesn't do as much as he should. The defense, they couldn't get a single takeaway interception last year. And that's the sucky part of New England's defense. So I don't have any faith in them to do anything. I have them getting a couple wins and third in the AFC East, and that says a lot for Miami, doesn't it? That tells you how bad I'm going to have them. But before we move on to Miami, Steven, do you have any literally any positives for New England or New York coming into this year?
I do.
You have a little bit.
Yeah, they have a superstar Mozzie Smith on the front line for the defense.
Mozzie Smith.
Yeah.
Mozzie
Smith.
but
but seriously, I like their second overall pick choice. When they picked David Bailey, he was a star in college.
Yeah, I will give you that. Yeah.
And then also the addition of Minka Fitzpatrick's interesting. This is one of the best safeties in the league. And then on the offensive side, there's a lot of young talent to build off of. This is obviously a rebuilding year for the Jets and a transition year, really. So even if I can just steal a couple wins, that's a success in my book.
Yeah, I mean, last year they were winless for quite a bit. Then they upset the Bengals after coming back. And then they had some close calls. They couldn't figure out the quarterback situation. And you're right. They do have some additions of Bailey and all them. And the offense is going to be. I think once you can get Garrett Wilson, maybe an actual competent, talented, young quarterback, you can maybe do some stuff. This year was not the year. They were hoping probably to get Dante Moore, but he decided to go to the college to stay in college football and stay at Oregon. But there's some additions, and I think there's maybe some tiny positives. I'll give you that, but mostly this is the rebuilding year. And now we move on to the team that I don't think has a lot of talent, which is fourth in the AFC East, 1-16, probably the lowest record I've ever predicted for any team. But I really, Steven, don't see much talent. They don't have a good receiving core. I have no faith in the quarterback situation. I mean, Malik Willis, yeah, but really he doesn't have what he had in Green Bay. He was a backup for quite a bit. Their defense is just not that good at all. I mean, sure, you're bringing in the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator, but I mean, who is he really going to work with? That's the big question. You don't have Bradley Chubb anymore. It's just the thing is, I just don't see much from the Dolphins. I don't really like talking about teams being so bad. I mean, I had the Dolphins. I thought a couple years ago when Mike McDaniel and all that, he was head coach. I seriously thought, hey, the Dolphins could be a good team. Maybe they'll actually win a playoff game for years to come. And then maybe be in the mix. But those 2 years and the next year was over. I mean, they went downhill from there, and now they're sitting in a possible 0-2 win season, and this is the year that they're going to try to probably go for Jeremiah Smith, at least maybe go for a quarterback or get Malik Willis, at least some development and get him some help. You have Devon Achane. He's a good running back in the league. I just don't know if he can't really do everything in this for this team. So, Steven, what were we thinking about Miami?
Well, exactly like you said. I mean, and there are some diamonds I see on here. Jordan Brooks had an amazing season last year on the defense, and then Devon Achane, the former A&M tailback, had a good start to his career. But when you factor in the absence of talent overall on the team, with a new coach, Jeff Hapley, who didn't have a winning record with Boston College in college football. He's only coached college football as a head coach, didn't have a winning record there. And then the fact that they have one of the hardest schedules in the league, it's rough down in South Beach. And, it's not very many wins you can find on that schedule.
He's more of a coordinator. He had Green Bay on a great well, besides when yours truly, the Dallas Cowboys put up 40 on his defense. He had a successful defense over there in Green Bay, especially with Micah Parsons on it. And then that kind of went downhill after Micah Parsons getting hurt against Denver. So now you're going to have to see, is he head coach worthy at a dumpster fire of Miami when he didn't have great coaching success before as a head coach, as you mentioned, especially in college, which I get Boston College has never really been that good. But, I mean, now you're going to Miami and you're expecting to beat all these teams, especially in a division with Buffalo and New England, which Miami probably could somehow upset at least one of them this year because they did it last year somehow. But I think this year is going to have to be the rebuilding year to try to go probably for someone like Jeremiah Smith. And I think that's what the big tank is for next year. Or go for Dante Moore. I don't know. But I think they're more concerned with the receiver because you at least can maybe get Malik Willis some development and get him some help. And you can maybe be back in the playoffs, especially with a competent defense. And that can at least get you somewhere. And we'll find out what the coaching does next year. All right, so you got that. You have those as your AFC East standings. And now it's time to move on to the AFC North. By the way, Angela said, "What's up, TreyDog? Fly Eagles, fly!" Oh, come on, we don't. That's not something we need to be saying on the channel. But you're an Eagles fan, so it's okay. Respectably, I love our competition against each other every year, but we'll get into Cowboys and Eagles in just a bit. Next up, Ravens. I've got them first in the AFC North. I've got them. Make a correction. I do have them. Hold on a second. How do I get out of this? I gotta make a correction, Steven.
Okay.
4 seed in the playoffs. I don't want to get too far, but they are the 4 seed in the playoffs.
Oh, does that mean you don't have them winning the division, or is?
No, I have them as a 4 seed in the AFC playoffs. I still have them winning the division.
There's 4 divisions. Huh. Oh,
yeah.
My mistake.
You're good. First in the AFC North, sitting at 11-6. I think this is going to be a better year under Jesse Minter, who's coming from the LA Chargers, who has helped that defense become one of the best in the country. Now he's going to have to turn around this Ravens defense, who's projected to be pretty good this year, especially with a safety like Kyle Hamilton back there. You have Lamar. If he can stay healthy, obviously he could try to go win MVP again. Get Derrick Henry, who's starting to regress a little bit, but I think he's still got some good talent and stuff left in the tank. Now you've got Zay Flowers still getting about $1,000 a year. He got a contract extension about a couple days ago. You have a little bit of a better O-line now. You don't have Harbaugh anymore, like I mentioned. He's over at New York in the NFC East now. And so he took Isaiah Likely with him. We'll see what Mark Andrews does there for the tight end room. And now you're bringing in some additions from the draft. So I do see Baltimore winning the division at 11-6. I still do have them being probably not going to be that very, very good team we saw a couple years ago, but they'll still going 11-6 is still a good record and good for to win a division as I think they will be doing and getting the 4 seed in the playoffs for the AFC. But I think they're going to be a good squad this year. And Steven, what about your takes on Baltimore?
Yeah, well, Lamar's going to be another player that'll be in MVP talks. I think if he has a healthy season, it seems whenever he has a healthy season, he can put it all together and be in contention.
Yeah, definitely.
And then on the defense, adding Trey Hendricks into that defense is huge in the offseason. And this is a defense with already brand name stars. But my worry with Baltimore, other than obviously a new coach after having the same one for nearly 20 years, is still the lack of star talent in the skill positions. Obviously Derrick Henry's amazing and legend of the game, but he's getting older, and then I'm unconvinced by the receiver room, I gotta say. So.
No, yeah, that's been a weakness for Baltimore, and they somehow get it managed, especially with Lamar especially when he runs the ball a lot. So they're more of a running team, but we'll see what Jesse Minter does. He's probably more focused on the defensive side than the offense, of course, coming from the Chargers, and he's helping that Chargers defense be really well. And we'll see what goes on with them in LA in just a minute. But there's Baltimore right there. Now move on to Cincinnati. I have them barely out of the playoffs. And honestly, I really don't even think a lot of people can. I mean, I understand they're going to be better, but I can't keep having my faith in Cincinnati every year. They look like they can make the playoffs by any year, and they don't because injuries happen, and then you have coaching issues and people wanting Zach Taylor gone or something, and then you have the defense sucking or something like that, which I do see the defense being better this year. I have them being competent. They have some additions, especially with Dexter Lawrence coming in from the trade from New York, from the Giants, and now he's going to be a good addition to that Bengals defense. But they have the new coordinator they got already, and now Joe Burrow can stay healthy. If Jamar Chase can still do what he's been doing, T. Higgins can stay healthy. You have Chase Brown in the backfield. That he's been a solid running back for this team. Especially after losing Joe Mixon a couple years ago to the Houston Texans, which he might actually end up retiring due to injuries because his injury, I think, was so bad. But now the Cincinnati team is always a question. Are they good enough to stay healthy? Can they stay healthy, and are they good enough to make the playoffs? And I think this year they stay healthy more, but I think they get snuck out of the playoffs due to other teams beating them in a tiebreaker. But they get second in the AFC North, beating the defending AFC North champions, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in terms of record. Steven, what do we think about the Bengal Tigers this year?
I get the injury concern and then also that defensive concern. They were one of the worst last year. They're still one of the worst this year. They'll still be one of the worst this year, even with the addition of Sexy Dexy, in my opinion. But Joe Burrow, he's so good. He's so good. And if they have a healthy season, I have to put him fringe playoffs. I feel like in my heart I have to, because there's talent. There's so much talent up and down in the offense, and I feel like I'd be remiss if they can be healthy this season. I feel like I'd be remiss not to give them a nod into the playoffs.
I definitely get what you're saying. Like I said, I had them just barely missing the playoffs. If they can do a little extra effort more and win maybe at least another game, they could probably get in the playoffs. But I think the NFC is going to be better than the AFC this year. Especially with the NFC West really being a core factor of how the NFC is so good this year. And they were that way they were last year. I mean, that's why you saw the NFC win. I think that'll be the case this year. But the reason I'm saying that is because when you're at 9-8 and you're missing the playoffs, there may be a reason compared to what you could be in the NFC. But I do think you're right. If they do stay healthy, there's a possible chance of them barely making the playoffs. What will they do with it? Probably nothing, but who knows with the NFL. Moving on, the third team in the AFC North is the Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-9, and this will be the first losing record they have in decades. They don't have Mike Tomlin. They got Big Mike McCarthy. I think there will be some issues with, I think Rodgers, we obviously all know Rodgers is not as good as he used to be. I think he'll play, I think they do have Michael Pittman now. They have DK Metcalf still. They've got Jalen Warren in the backfield. He's a pretty solid running back, and I don't know how good Rodgers will be this year. Who knows if he'll even stay healthy. Mike McCarthy reuniting with him from the glory days in Green Bay and the days that they crushed Dallas's dreams for a Super Bowl twice in the playoffs. And then Mike McCarthy had his good days in Dallas. Getting 3 straight 12-5 seasons with a record of 1 and 3 in the playoffs. But that is Dallas. That's how struggled they've been in the postseason for the past 30 years. Sadly, hope that will change soon. But Steelers also have their own playoff issues, but I don't think they'll make it. And I think 8-9, around maybe 9-8, maybe they will keep that winning record. But I see them getting about 8 or 9 wins this year. The defense, I think, will be good, back to maybe a good spot with T.J. Watt, especially being in that situation, and Patrick Queen being with the Steelers now. Or at least from now, this is the second year. So this team has some talent, but I don't know if it's enough to get to the playoffs. I think they're going to be eliminated about week 16, maybe 17. With a record of 8-9, being third in the AFC North. So, what do we think about this Mike McCarthy-led Pittsburgh team?
Well, Money Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers reunited. Wow,
yeah,
it's gonna be awesome. They're gonna be so good. They're gonna get to a nice 7 to 9 wins.
Yeah, and no Super Bowl, no NFC Championship, no. Yeah.
No, none of that. No. AFC, yeah.
AFC.
No, none of that. It's just Rodgers. It's all right. It's cool, but it's nothing. It's not playoff worthy, and they're not going to win the division with it unless injuries happen, which that actually is a very high chance of happening in the AFC North. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think they have a prayer to win the division. And Aaron Rodgers retires. A sad, sad man.
Sad for at least the recent, but with his total career, I don't think he will be sad.
Oh, okay.
But no, I know what you mean though. Sad. He's coming off a sad note, especially them. He helped them go to the playoffs at least last year. He didn't get to do that. I'm glad he probably was glad to be finally back in the playoffs after some of those years of him not being in there. But now I don't think this year will happen. The team has some talent. But I think there's just more of a untrustable team, even with the talent itself, to make the playoffs. And they had some issues the year before as well, or last year, being consistent. And I think that's what's going to happen this year. I just don't think I trust them enough to be a postseason team, and I don't trust them enough to win games they should. And I think their talent oversimplifies in a 7-9 win season, and third in the AFC North. But they will beat over is the Cleveland Browns, Joseph's team. 4-13, fourth in the AFC North. I could see them having more wins, but the thing is with Cleveland is I don't know if I can trust their quarterback situation. I think Shedeur won the quarterback one spot, but I don't know how much I can trust him. You do, although, have some offensive talent. You did get Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M there. And why am I forgetting the tailback's name?
Quinshawn Judkins.
There we go. Quinshawn Judkins. Got it. Yes. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. That's a mistake. He's a good running back. He helps that. I think he helped the offense make when they were in trouble last year. He helped the offense kind of get going with his speed there. And now the defense does not have Myles Garrett. That's the bad part. But they do have Jared Verse. You have Denzel Ward had a contract extension just a little bit ago, just about a week ago or so. But so this Browns defense does have some great goodness to it that can help the Browns win games. But it's just I don't know if they're a team. I could see them maybe winning a couple more games and being. But this team is I think this is going to be like a little bit of a kind of see what you are year. Maybe you can go forward next year. You don't have Stefanski anymore. Now you've got the Ravens offensive coordinator, so we'll see how much he gets into the offense and maybe fixes it up. But you don't have Stefanski's defensive knowledge as he's over in Atlanta, head coaching them. So we'll see. Cleveland, I mean, like I said, you can see maybe a couple more wins, but overall with the talent side, with the trust in the offense, and how much will the defense make an impact without a defensive minded coach. I don't know what will really happen, but the bottom line is with them, I don't think they'll have a very good season, and then they will miss the playoffs by week 13. All right, Steven, what are we thinking about Cleveland?
Well, the Browns, they used to be the third best professional sports team in Cleveland, but now they've been knocked off the podium with the recent addition of the new WNBA team in Cleveland. No way they're not going to be more successful than the Browns. Poor Browns fans. I mean, seriously. But a stellar defense. I'll give them that. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for the second year growth of Carson Schwarzenegger. Maybe he could be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Possible. He almost won the rookie about last year.
Yes, sir. But plenty to be excited about on the defensive side of the ball. But the offense it's putrid. I won't beat around the bush. It's terrible, and it's another rebuilding year for the city of Cleveland, and maybe they can add some talent if they suck enough this season.
That's very possible because they'll probably try to go for. If they can get their hands on Jeremiah Smith, they will get their hands on Jeremiah Smith. There's no doubt about that. But
for sure.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that seems like you got the Cardinals, you got the Dolphins, you got the Browns now, you've got some other teams that could be trying to make a run for Jeremiah Smith and possible quarterback like Dante Moore, and who knows about Trinidad? We'll see where he goes next year, top in terms of quarterback. And I will go with anyone who ever can get their Mestamaker from Oklahoma State, or maybe he goes next year. I don't know how good he'll be, and maybe how his draft stock will be. But there are plenty of quarterbacks that the Browns maybe can go get. But they're probably going to go for more receiver because I got faith in Shedeur if you can give him some talent and maybe give him some development. But I think they're more concerned about a receiver and maybe some linemen. And we keep saying that about them, and then nothing happens. So they've just got to figure it out. Maybe they will soon. And maybe Joseph will be a happy man for the Cleveland Browns eventually. Anywho, let's move on now to the next division, which is the AFC South. And this is wrong. This is a 3 seed because you already saw the Bills, so I'm not going to change it. They're the 3 seed in the playoffs, sitting at a record 11-6. The Houston Texans, I think they win the AFC South this year like they did 2 out of the last 3 years before Jacksonville took it last year from them. If Houston hadn't had that bad of a start, they possibly could have won it last year, but they decided to go 12-5 and win 9 straight. I think they'll be a pretty good squad this year, and maybe they can finally get over the hump and make the AFC championship for the first time in franchise history after becoming a team in the very late 1900s, about 1999 or something like that. They became a franchise after the Oilers and all that. But they have a quarterback that has been inconsistent and isn't as good as the rookie year hyped him up to be. C.J. Stroud, who we thought could have been maybe the savior for the Houston Texans, which he has helped them, but you can't ignore how good that defense is. I mean, they are one heck of a defense with Will Anderson Jr., possible Defensive Player of the Year this year. You have Derek Stingley, who has been a great defensive back, I think a top 5 in my opinion in the league. And if this defense can stay healthy, they've got something to it, and this which they have been able to lately. I think they've been a top 10 at least a top 10 defense since the 2023 year. This offense now has a new addition of now not really a new addition, but maybe really coming back with Tank Dell to the scary injury possible we thought could have been career-ending injury in 2024 in December against the Chiefs off the touchdown catch. And you got Nico Collins if he can stay healthy. Joe Mixon, I don't know if he'll be coming back, but you have David Montgomery coming from the Detroit Lions now in the running back room with maybe Nick Chubb and others coming in for the Houston Texans. So this Texans team, I think, has 11 wins in them, possibly more. I think you can maybe see even 12 wins or maybe 13. Who knows with this Houston team, with how far this defense goes. DeMeco Ryans, I respect him as a coach. I think he's definitely turned this Texans team around into becoming a possible contender to for an AFC championship and maybe sometimes even a Super Bowl, but I just don't think they've ever been able to get going. They've always made that divisional, but they never can actually finally get over it. But they have to have balance for the offense and the defense to do that. Steven, what are your takes on Houston?
Oh, so Houston, statistically one of the best defenses last year. And then this offseason they added Reed Blankenship to the secondary. So they would be the best defense going into the season, if not for one of the teams that plays at SoFi Stadium. It's just a talent up and down the ball, and then on the offense, like you said, returning talent coming in. I'm very, very confident in this Houston team, and I think they could make a push towards the Super Bowl, making their first in franchise history. I seriously think that could happen in the mess that is the AFC right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to happen, I think it could happen soon. If CJ can maybe get back to his rookie self, this team will be unstoppable. And we thought that after that year, too, because after CJ coming off that great year, the defense looking like they'll be top 5, you get Stephon Diggs. I thought they were going to make the Super Bowl. And I had them, I think, my prediction that year, I think I had them losing in the AFC Championship to the Kansas City Chiefs. But they end up falling in the divisional round to the Kansas City Chiefs. So I was right about something. That playoff prediction, I had the Chiefs and the Lions in the Super Bowl, and I thought that was going to come true, as they were both 1 seeds. But the Lions decided to lose to the 2024 version of C.J. Stroud, Jane Daniels, and the Washington Commanders. But anywho, let's move on to the next team. I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars going back to the playoffs, sneaking in as a 7 seed in the AFC playoffs, sitting at a 9-8 record, second in the AFC South. I do think Trevor Lawrence will have a little bit of a regression year. We see this about every time from him. We see a little bit of this team, Trevor Lawrence, he really played well, and then he goes downhill, and then he looks up again. This year, I think he's going to go good. I just don't think he'll be the MVP-worthy quarterback that we saw last year. You don't have Travis Etienne in the backfield anymore, sitting with the running back. Wide receiver-wise, you don't have Travis Hunter at receiver. You moved him to corner, so at least helps the defensive-wise that. Brian Thomas Jr., can he get over the sophomore slump? Is the question that we saw last year, and can he get to have a successful third year and possibly stay healthy? This defense with the secondary and the D line with Walker and Josh Hines Allen. This defensive line has some talent there that can get through offensive lines and sack the quarterback. And they've got a secondary that has been able to get some development throughout the past years. I think this Jacksonville team has some talent, but I think it takes about maybe 9 to 10 wins for them this year. But I think they are a good group of Jaguars to make the playoffs and get second in the AFC South. What do we think about the Jaguars this year, Steven?
Well, I think that 7 seed, that precious 7 seed in the AFC, is going to come down to 2 teams, Jacksonville and Cincinnati. And
that's where I'm at, yeah.
And really, in my opinion, the X factor this year for the Jags will be the growth of Travis Hunter as a 2-way player. We've never truly seen a level of talent of 2-way player ever in the history of football than we see with Travis Hunter. But, he needs to bring it all together. His rookie season, it could have been better. Even with Jacksonville making playoffs, it certainly could have been better. But, this is a guy who won the Heisman. He won the Heisman as a defensive back and receiver. One of the most talented players to ever come through the draft. But, it's a lot of expectations going into the second year. And if he can put it all together, that can really be the turning point on Jacksonville's season.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's just really going to be coming together for, if those receivers can really play like they've been. Brian Thomas, like I mentioned, he got to have his rookie year season. And then, we'll see what Travis Hunter does as well. It's really just, can the Jaguars keep up their momentum? Can they keep it going? I think they'll regress a bit, but I think it'll be enough to sneak in the playoffs. And yeah, I think Cincinnati is good. Like I mentioned, that they're going to be the team to try to sneak in that 7 seed. But I think Jacksonville will be still a solid group of guys. And
adding on to that, it always helps to have an All-Pro kicker.
Cam Little, yeah, it really does. Former Arkansas Razorback there. I do like him. He's making history of those kickers, and he's getting compared to Brandon Aubrey now. But I still think Aubrey's a little better though. But Cam Little, nothing little about his kicks. They're everything. But anywho, let's move on to the next team in the AFC South. We got the 3rd seed Colts, 7-10, third team in the AFC South, third in the AFC South as well, 7-10. Indianapolis last year, they went 8-2 at one point, lost 7 straight. Haven't won since they beat the Falcons and out of the country last year. I don't know if that was London or if that was in Germany. I can't remember where that was. But they have a 7-10 record. I think they'll have some good stuff going on this year for them. Daniel Jones coming back from an injury. Maybe he can get comeback player of the year. He was already kind of potentially having a chance at that last year before he got hurt, because he was surprising everyone how bad he was those last 2 years in New York at the Giants. And then he came to prove himself to maybe be a pretty good quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Then Jonathan Taylor looked like he may have a chance to be the first non-quarterback to win MVP in a while. Then he got hurt, and his season. And then Tyler Warren was a good addition. That tied in Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Caleb Downs' brother. And then that defense had some good stuff as well, especially with Bynum. One of the D-backs there for the Indianapolis Colts, as well as some others. That defensive unit, I think, has been a top 10, at least, borderline top 10, at least the top 15 defense in the league. So they've been able to help out. But I do think this year, I think they've got some opponents on here that I think are going to be too tough for them. I don't know if they'll have as much. I don't know if they'll have that great of a team as they did like last year before all the injuries came. So I think 7-10 is where they're going to sit. Maybe I could see them getting a couple more wins and maybe possibly sneaking into the playoffs. But I don't know. This year I think they will sit at 7-10. I don't know. I just don't know if I can see them going. Having that really talented of a squad. But hey, if they can, if they can really come together as a team and see what we saw at the beginning before they collapsed last year with all the injuries and all that. I mean, who knows? They could be dominant again. I just don't know if I can trust them to do that. And but they've got some talent, but I just don't know if it'll translate fully. But I think they'll be 7-10, and they're going to start kind of getting maybe kind of going up from years on out. And within the next few years, we could see them in the postseason and maybe being relevant. But it will depend on what they do with Daniel Jones and all that, and if their offense stays pretty good. But I think there'll be some trust issues and maybe some inconsistent issues that will get them to 7-10. But it'll be better than some of those other bad years they've had, and at least maybe at the start they can be. They can have a good record at one point in the season. So, Steven, what are we thinking about the Colts this year?
Well, listen, Trey, we've agreed on almost everything so far, everything within the division standings. But here is where we split. I have the Colts in 4th place in the AFC South.
Do you now?
I have the Titans finishing ahead of them. And I know the defense is great. Sauce Gardner is one of the most talented corners in the league. But listen, Daniel Jones coming off the Achilles injury, Jonathan Taylor coming off another season of injuries, and then losing Michael Pittman. My trust issue is I don't trust that this team could put up enough points to win games. I'll just say it right there. I don't know if I trust them, and I and we're splitting hairs really because these are two teams. Otherwise, regardless, none of these two teams are making the playoffs. But I think Tennessee, coming off the second year of Cam Ward, is gonna have enough talent and a boost to finish third place in this division.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could see it. And you're, with Michael Pittman leaving and the injuries, but I just do see that, being I don't see that being as big of affection, but I don't see them being good enough and trusted enough. I don't trust them enough to go to the winning record and make the playoffs, especially with some teams they have to play that are too tough to beat. But I do see them. But yeah, third in the AFC South. But I could see Tennessee taking the place too. The Colts have also, I think, really owned the Titans in recent years. But I don't know. I think the Tennessee Titans will have a better shot at beating them this year. But yeah, injuries are going to be a problem. Trust with Jonathan Taylor. Trust with Daniel Jones as he's getting older. And the defense has their good ways, but this team has some positives. They've got some negatives, but I don't know if it'll be enough to get to that winning record. Like I said, especially with the schedule. So, but if everyone can stay healthy, maybe you can boost up and everything. You can go back to your old self of the beginning of last year. But I don't see that happening for Indianapolis. All right, let's go fourth in the AFC South. They got the Titans sitting at 5-12. Now I can see them getting a few more, but I'm going to have them 5-12 because with some improvement on the defensive side, with improvement on the offensive side, especially with Brian Daboll, Robert Saleh, the head coach for now the Tennessee Titans. He's a defensive-minded coach. You have development now, but I don't know if you have enough sitting talent-wise. You do have some better additions on the offensive side with what am I saying? Arvell Reese for the Titans, and then you as well have what you call it? They got the Giants? Oh, Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants. You have some additions there, and you got Tony Pollard in the backfield as well as Tajay Spears. You have some good running backs that are at least can get you some points, and now Cam Ward's got some help, especially under Brian Daboll, who developed Josh Allen. Now you got a defense that is that's going to be kind of questioned. They'll be better, but I think they'll be more of a okay type defense this year. So I think this will be one year where they're kind of trying to get settled. They'll go 5-12, go get maybe some more wins, get maybe to 7 wins, like you said, Steven. They could get at least higher than the Colts. But I do see them at least kind of dropping back a little bit this year. And you're now going to have to take a look and see what will this bring next year? What can they do for next year? And I do see them beating the Colts this year and ending some of that question if they'll be able to beat Indianapolis. But I do see them, the record might not look it, but I do see them having some progression, at least being closer in some of those games. But now we'll take a look, Steven. What are your thoughts on Tennessee? You have them third in the AFC South. What are we thinking about them, though, this year in terms of the season?
Well, I think they've added talent. Alontae Taylor on the defense, I like that, and then on the offense, I am a fan of the receiving core for Cam Ward. I think they'll be good enough to really challenge teams this year, and I think they're going to be a 6 to 8 win team. Honestly, I think that's I have them taking that big of a jump. That'll be good. That'll be good for a young team and building confidence over the years.
Yeah,
so.
I can see it. Also, my bad. I don't know why that's a mistake. I do not make it as an analysis. I don't know. I got the wrong Ohio State player. It's Carnell Tate. For some reason I said Orville Reese, but yes, very talented dude from Ohio State. That is my bad as a mistake. I don't know why I said Orville Reese. Kind of hard when you try to mix up some of those really good Ohio State players that are talented coming in the NFL that were first round picks. But hey, it's okay. My mistake there. Anywho, you're right though. 6 to 8 wins possibly could happen. I think they're going to at least be for a better year, and I think they can too. But I think this will be a little more of a setback, learning moment to get together. And then next year, I think they'll be kind of starting hitting the ground running and starting getting some wins, and we could see them in the playoffs the next few years. But they're heading in the right direction, I think. Even if it doesn't look like it here at the record and fourth in the AFC South, I think I trust them to head in the right direction, and they can honestly maybe be like maybe surprise people this year. All right, next up, we got the AFC West. And this is my one overall seed in the AFC playoffs. I got the Denver Broncos really getting a good year this year, sitting at 14-3, first in the AFC West as well. They have development with Bo Nix now, especially under Sean Payton. They've got maybe J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy, because when he's healthy, he's good, but I just don't know if I can trust him enough. But it's okay, because you have some good receivers of such as Jalen Waddle, who coming in from Miami, he now has a better quarterback. You now have Cortland Sutton, and I think that Sutton and Nix duo can be good when they actually get going. I think you've got a trustable O-line now. You've got a great defense. You don't have Dre Greenlaw anymore. He went back to the Niners, but you have Pat Surtain, and who's really talented of a defensive back. And I think this Denver defense can really be a great defensive unit once again this year. And that defensive front is just amazing. It's amazing to watch. They've been able to get a lot of sacks last year. I could definitely see this Denver defense or this Denver team making at least the AFC title game again, possibly the Super Bowl, and who knows? Maybe they can. I don't know. With LA being in the way, I don't know if they'll win it or not. But they're a pretty good group, pretty good squad that I think will get about 13 to 14 wins this year. At least 12, and be good again, get the 1 seed in the playoffs, and I don't think they'll stop until they win a Super Bowl, honestly, and maybe not then. So, but I think they're going to be a relevant team for years to come, and I don't think it'll get even better this year. And I think they'll even have a better year this year, even if it looks like they got there on the same record. Steven, what do we think about this Denver team for 2026?
Well, Trey, I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be really good, just like they were last year. They might even contend for the 1 seed. But bottom line, this defense again. Other than like you said, Dre Greenlaw, it's pretty much the same roster of characters. And why change? Why change what's already perfect? And then on the offensive side of the ball, we've got weapons. We've got Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, and then J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey as well, and Bo Nix, of course, leading it. All plenty to be confident about in Denver right now, and especially with the uncertainty with other teams right now. In my opinion, in the AFC West, I think they'll come away with this division, and they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, possibly 1 seed. A lot to take away from this Denver team. I do think there may be a little less, there's some more weaknesses, I think, that would maybe keep them away from winning a Super Bowl. But hey, with Sean Payton, who knows what can happen. And this team has very much came together since the tragedy of all those years. And they've really gotten back to their, Peyton Manning-like days. I'm not saying Bo Nix is Peyton Manning, but he has really helped the team. And he has definitely been a great there was a great draft pick. I didn't have much faith in him two years ago, but he has definitely proved a lot of people wrong, and he is definitely I've had confidence in him. Being able to manage a good offense and being able to make good plays, and he really proved a good amount of greatness in that playoff game. So I can see him being great quarterback for years to come. I think he's, outside the top 10 right now, but I think as, past this year, I think after this year, I could maybe see people putting him in that tops. Who knows if he plays like I think he will this year, I could see him put in that top 7 range next year when we come back to these offseason quarterback rankings. But a lot of good stuff in this offense, even better stuff in the defense. 1 seed I think is in there, definitely a contender for it for this year. All right, I think Kansas City comes second in the AFC North. I think they're kind of get back, not fully to their old self. I'm not saying because with Denver in the way and all that, I think that's going to be a big obstacle. But I think they go 11-6. I don't think that obviously they get 13 or 14 wins like we've seen them multiple times before. But I think they get 11-6, second in the AFC North, 5 seed in the AFC playoffs. I think they're that best wild card team available in the AFC. Patrick Mahomes coming back from an injury, but I think I have all the faith in Mahomes to get this team to help this team back in shape, especially with Andy Reid as the head coach. You've got Steve Spagnuolo as the defensive coordinator, especially with Chris Jones as one of the defensive linemen, and now you got Travis Kelce. How good will he be this year at the tight end position, especially after getting married to Taylor Swift? I don't know. How good will he be in football this year? We don't know. His retirement is kind of coming down to it sooner or later. Now you don't have him. You got Kenneth Walker. Or now you don't have Pacheco. You've got Kenneth Walker, which is an upgrade. For some reason, Seattle let him go after winning Super Bowl MVP. But hey, he's now at Kansas City. The running back room will be even better. Now you got also Xavier Worthy, and maybe Rashee Rice can actually stay. Not in. He can stay out of jail. And he can actually. These receivers are fast. They can make plays. And I think this is what Kansas City's offense is, what makes them a good unit this year. And I think this defense, also, they don't have McDuffie anymore, but I think this defense will also be a good squad this year that will help them at least get 11 wins this year and be a playoff team. And I don't know how far Mahomes and Reid will use their magic and take the Chiefs this year. I don't think they'll be to the Super Bowl, but I think they can. You'll see in a bit where I have them, but I think they at least make the playoffs this year and have a good season and much better than their bad year last year. And really, they were a good squad. I think up till really until after the Dallas game, maybe even a little later, because they looked like a good squad against us, and I think we were good at the time. And then they kind of fell apart after the. Really a couple games after that maybe, and especially when Mahomes got hurt against the Chargers. What are we seeing though in the in one of the dynasty that we thought would maybe keep going, the Kansas City Chiefs, Steven?
Well, Trey, I have to make a confession. As I'm looking at this and I realize, there's more limited spots than I expected in the playoffs. There's some teams that I'm starting to bump down a notch, because obviously I think Kansas City will make a return to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think they'll be third in the division. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, that's fine. The Chargers will be good this year. I mean, the Chargers will have some goodness in them this year, so I can see it.
Yeah. But the Chiefs are returning a lot of talent, and then everyone was clipping the Patrick Mahomes throwing to Creed Humphrey's head, but he had a good camp. He actually had a good training camp, and then obviously the defense has been a concern throughout the Mahomes era. But I like the talent I see on that side of the ball, and really. It's going to be a return. It's going to be a return to the winning ways that we know at the Kansas City Chiefs, and like you said, maybe not a Super Bowl appearance, but we say that a lot, but it ends up always being Kansas City. So we'll just have to see how they do if they make it to the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, I think with a healthy Mahomes and a good team the whole year, I don't think that the team will miss the playoffs because they had a good shot at it last year. Although, if we remember, when Mahomes was healthy the whole year and they lost to Dallas, they had lower than like a 20% chance to make the playoffs. So, but I think this year will be different for Kansas City. But I think they'll just be winning, but they won't be like I don't think they'll be a Super Bowl team. We say that though. And then they miss. But that's usually when they win the division. Especially with Denver and some other teams in their way, that could possibly be it now. If they play Buffalo in the playoffs, we know what could happen there. Anywho, a team that some people might be, might have left out or may have included, but I think will be a fringe team for the playoffs this year, and unfortunately for Chargers fans and Nicholas Freeland, one of our buds, I have them out, barely out of the postseason this year because I think they will go 9-8. I think with the loss of Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator, and especially with some other defensive issues, I do think that they will fall a little bit. And also, their schedule, they've got some opponents on there that I think just are going to outmatch them, and I have them at 9-8. But I still can see them as a playoff team. Now, remember last year they were a 7 seed. So it's not like they've been all dominating when it was 3 or 4 seeds all these years, and then I all of a sudden for some reason have them a 7 seed out of the playoffs. 9-8, third in the AFC West, and Justin Herbert, he's a good quarterback, top 10 of course in my opinion. It's the O-line got better. I just don't know how good they'll be able to help him. And now, of course, Harbaugh, as the other Harbaugh, as head coach, you got with Jim Harbaugh. He's been able to keep this Chargers team at least relevant, but I think they'll miss it a bit this year. And running back wise, that's always been a are they good enough to do it? Receiver wise, you got Keenan Allen, like Ladd McConkey. Keenan Allen's not really back to his old self, really, but he made some good plays last year. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, if he can catch the ball. McConkey's a pretty good, fast, explosive receiver over at the slot position. I think you could see more out of. You could see some pretty good stuff from him. Amari and Hampton, running back for the Chargers. Like I said, questionable if they all can stay healthy. But it's the consistent issue. But I think he is he's a talented running back that's been able to help the running game. But I just think this year there's some question marks that will kind of get them to a 9-8 year, and this will be the year I think they miss the playoffs. But I could definitely see them still making it by a fringe. But I just can't trust. But honestly, if I had them making it, I would have them out first round because I can't trust them to win playoff games. But here we go. What are we thinking about the Bolts led by the Harbaugh this year, Steven?
Well, you heard that I had the Chiefs at number 3.
Yeah.
I have the Chargers second place in the division. I have them giving the Broncos a run for their money, honestly. I love Justin Herbert. A lot can be said about the receiver room and the skill position players, but I think they're good enough to carry the weight. And then I think their offensive line's improving. And on the defensive side of the ball, I think they have names, and I think they're underrated. This team is just underrated, in my opinion, and I think they'll not only be a double-digit win team, but they will comfortably be inside the playoffs, maybe even a 5th seed.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I could see this Chargers team. I'm not like dissing on them at all or saying, oh no, this team's gonna literally. I don't have any faith in make the playoffs. No, I just think it's based off my standings. I can't magically put them in the playoffs. I got to go by the tiebreaker rules, and I think the tiebreaker goes to the Jaguars out of the Jaguars, Bengals, and Chargers, and which we kind of agreed the Jaguars and Bengals probably could be borderline playoff teams, and I think the Chargers will be one of them. Like I said, I think there's some question marks that'll keep them out of it, but I think this defense also, with Khalil Mack and all them, can be be a team that can be a defense that will be dominant even without Jesse Minter kind of leading the way. Now you do have Mike McDaniel kind of helping that offense, and he's got some offensive mind. So I could see some more. This is probably my kind of a prediction. I'm like, I don't know if he'll be right or not, because it's probably one of those that if I get I'll be if I'm wrong about it, I'll be like, yeah, I thought that happened, but this makes sense too. It's not one of my confident ones, but it is one I think that will, in my opinion, happen. But if it doesn't, I think anything will be higher. They'll be in the playoffs, like it'll be where you stand on them, Steven. But now we got the 4th in the AFC West. I got the Las Vegas Raiders with improvement-wise, Clint Kubiak coming in from the Seattle, helping that offense, being the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Fernando Mendoza at quarterback. Now, the question is he starting week 1? They might put Kirk Chains in to start off. Ashton Genty. You've got a little more improvement on the O-line. You got Ashton Genty sitting at running back. It's now going to be the big question is, what are you doing? Am I forgetting, what are we doing receiver-wise for the Raiders is the question. What are we doing planning on offensive talent-wise is the thing. Or really, what is the offense? Is this offense really going to be good enough to really shock people is the question. That's going to be the big thing. And then you also have the defense. I get you have Max Crosby, but do you have other great play? But do you have a good enough talent around him to do stuff? I think this is where this year is. Okay, you're gonna have to figure some stuff out. I think the next year will be better. Kind of like I said about Tennessee. This is gonna be kind of like Tennessee. You're gonna have to start figuring stuff out. I think I trust Tennessee more, but I think you're gonna have to start figuring stuff out. Kind of see what you're doing, and I think maybe the next few years you can see it, and maybe you can go get some good stuff next draft. But I think this year will be better. Last year they were terrible. Get a few more wins, get some confident building, and you boom, you're going off to the next year. And now we'll see we have trust in Fernando Mendoza. All right, Steven, what do we think about the Big Vegas?
Really, I couldn't say it better than myself. I don't think they'll be the worst team in the AFC. I don't think they'll be near as bad as Miami or even New York. They're not a playoff team. They're not a contending team for the playoffs in any way. But they've got young talent and they're interesting. Again, like you said, it could be Kirk, it could be Fernando. I hope eventually it's Fernando, to be honest. No offense to Kirk, but I kind of want to.
It'll probably be the first few weeks. It'll be Kirk, and then Fernando will probably take over. Something like that.
And then on the defense, like you said, Max Crosby, but what are you surrounding him with? Well, I think the addition of Kwity Paye will certainly help, and you got a battering crew on your front seven. I like their front seven, and I think they'll be a fun team to watch, honestly. But again, not fun enough to be good, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be like kind of watching Tennessee. They're going to give people good games. I honestly have the Raiders getting a couple division wins too, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to get a lot of wins. But they'll be on the way to maybe even being a better team for years to come and possibly make the playoffs. Some of these teams, if I see a rebuild in them, I'll see if they're starting to kind of get some confidence in them this year. I think they'll have some confidence for years to come, and they'll eventually get to the playoffs and make some noise. But the Raiders still seeking to have that playoff win. For the first time in over 20 years. They were like the Dolphins. They're still seeking that first playoff win. Them and Miami are have the worst droughts. Miami still is looking for that too, and I don't think they'll be getting any time soon. Anywho, now it's time for the big NFC. Make sure before we get into the NFC, to like and subscribe to the Dog Squad, to TreyDog 60. We are on the road to 2K. I am hoping to get there soon. You will have videos from me in college, especially when me trying to focus on my sports media degree. Make sure you go follow Dem Boys Reports on Instagram. As the Cowboys season is starting to get closer, you'll have more Cowboys videos over on Instagram as much as I can. But the videos will be here on YouTube as well. So make sure you go down there. Also, make sure to share the stream. And we got about halfway to now. Thank you for people that's been watching this stream. Make sure to share this. Other people can be part of the Dog Shop subscribing. And also, people can watch the stream by getting the link as well. And I'll add some more links in the description probably after this stream. All right, Steven. Let's get this NFC part done going here. It's been a good time in the AFC, but now it's time to move on to more of a dominant conference, NFC. And as much as I hate saying it, I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning the division. But I have a lot more confidence in them boys winning the NFC East this year than I did the past 2 years, because we'll talk about Dallas in a moment. But the thing is with Philadelphia is I don't think it's going to be tough to win this division with how talented they are. Now, I'm not going to be like that dumb reporter I told you about yesterday, Steven, that decided to say I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to outmatch the LA Rams and the contenders for the NFC. I'm like, now hold it. Stop being that's not funny. Why are we saying that stuff? I don't either. Like, well, the Rams haven't played together. Okay, bud. Myles Garrett's the only addition, and anything they're going to be elite that way. So we saw them play together last year. But we'll talk about the Rams in a moment. The Philadelphia Eagles, though, he is right about one thing: how good, how the talent they have. Defense under Vic Fangio, they have been awesome. With the front, especially with Jordan Davis and Nolan Carter, especially with guys in the back, the D-backs such as Cooper DeJean. It is going to be a problem for offenses to get to past them this year. Unless you're Dak and George. This offense-wise, they got rid of what's his face? The offensive coordinator. How am I forgetting his name? Shoot. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
I can't help you out.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm... Kevin Patullo. Sorry. I just remembered. Yes, offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo last year was harming this Philadelphia offense, which was awesome to see as a Cowboys team. But now they have better offensive coordinators now, and Jalen Hurts will probably be better. Saquon Barkley probably be better. They got Mekhi Lemon from the draft out of USC, wide receiver 2. He'll be helpful. Devontae Smith sitting at that wide receiver 1 spot. He was always a good wide receiver 2. And they got an O-line that's been one of the best for years to come, even without Jason Kelsey. This O-line front, now Lane Johnson is retiring soon. I mean, that's a possible thing. This offense is going to be better, and this defense will be great. So 11-6 sounds like something. Now you probably could see. Wait, what about this team? The way you're sounding like sounds like they could be 12 to 13 win team. Well, it's really consistency with coaching and how good Jalen Hurts actually will be. That's the problem. They've got a couple of trust issues. I think that will get them. Have them lose some games they shouldn't and go 11-6. They had that problem last year, almost collapsing again in the division. But I think they'll lose some games they shouldn't go 11-6. Win the NFC East, sadly. But I think the Cowboys could catch up with them. 3 seed in the NFC playoffs. What are we thinking about our division rivals that we despise, especially their fans, Steven?
So I get to be the biased, delusional Cowboys fan today?
It's not delusional if it can happen, but biased, you're right about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys will be winning the NFC East this season. The Eagles, I mean, it's much different team than the Super Bowl champions from 2 years ago. I think it's a worse team than the Super Bowl champions from 2 years ago, but it's still a really good team. There's going to be a lot of those in the NFC, and a lot of really good teams. And when there's a lot, some teams are going to get left out. And this is a team. It's tough to say. I don't think they'll be in the playoffs this year. I think they'll be left out of the playoffs, out of the postseason.
Okay.
That was a bombshell, I know, but.
I mean, you got to have your takes, and I really hope you're right, Steven. I would laugh my pants off if they missed the playoffs and we made it in winning the division. But it could happen. I mean, they could have a down year, especially the A.J. Brown, not like he was a huge impact, but we could be in for a down year. It's just kind of hard to say that with Philadelphia, especially under Nick Sirianni. He's done a great job over there, as much as I don't like saying it in his attitude in games, but I think, it's kind of hard to count them out. But, hey, this is the year probably that they could have a down year. But part of me also says they got a good squad. And when they're in the playoffs, when they're good, when they actually are looking good, when they're going into the playoffs like a good team, it's kind of hard to trust them not to be doing anything in the postseason, which we'll talk about that in just a minute. But now it's time for them Dallas Cowboys. I have them missing the playoffs. I apologize. How did I not change that? I sadly have them missing the playoffs. I know it's a heartbreaker. I apologize. But as you and me, Steven, just mentioned, this team, this NFC is going to be good. I mean, come on, I had them 10-7. That should be a playoff team. But their schedule's tough. I have them it was just a tiebreaker that got them. We have 11-6 teams as a 7 seed. I mean, this is going to be, I think, something like that, or it's just going to be such a good conference. But I have so much faith that Dallas will get to the playoffs this year. I have so much faith as a Cowboys fan. I think they could even win the division. I mean, you take a look where we are. 11-6, Philadelphia Eagles get the 3 seed in the playoffs. Only one win below the Dallas Cowboys have them eliminated. It's just sadly how the NFL works. If we had a committee, you probably could sneak the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. But I think they will be an overall better team this year with a new program defense of Christian Parker and Caleb Downs, as well as the D line of Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams, and as well as you adding D Winters and hopefully a healthy DeMarvin Overshown will come in place. Then you got one of the best offenses in the country with Dak Prescott, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, and an O-line that will be developed, as well as Ryan Flournoy, one of the best wide receiver threes in the league. I definitely could see this offense, as well as Kavontae Turpin. I could definitely see this offense, as well as Jake Ferguson being the tight end. If he can be consistent throughout the year, I could see this offense being really good again. This defense being manageable, top 15 in the country possibly, and then making the division. But because of tiebreakers, because of the stupid tiebreakers, and the playoffs aren't expanded, and you only have 7 teams in, I have them sadly missing out of the playoffs with a record of 10-7, getting second in the NFC East one again. But I hope I'm wrong, and I have confidence that I'll be wrong. Steven, what are we thinking about the Cowboys this year? I know you have them winning the division. What are we thinking, though, overall this season being?
The Cowboys, I do have them winning the division, and obviously, if they win the division, it's going to be off the backs of what they call goatee.
Goatee. Greatest
offense there is. If they can be the best offense in the league, that'll be pretty helpful. That honestly will. And Dak, you got Dak, and it's probably honestly it's the most hated player in the league, maybe minus Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson
has his rights.
We don't need to talk about that. Somehow Dax somehow people hate him as much as Deshaun Watson. It's silly, but
it's because of that star right there. It's because of that star right there, Steven.
That's right. I'm not here to complain about that. I'm here to talk up the Dallas Cowboys. They've got. I think the offensive line will improve. I think just a top 5 receiving core, top 3, maybe even top 1. Who knows? In the league, Javonte Williams is a weapon at running back, and then Dak running the show, and then. The defense, the improvement of the defense will be instrumental for them winning the division. We got a full season of Quinnen Williams, and then we got off-season additions like Rashawn Gary, D. Winters, and Kobe Durant, and then obviously the draft brought in Caleb Downs, and one more player I think that will be key to how good they will be this season is DeMarvin Overshown. Seeing a full season of Overshown, hopefully we can see it. And if we do, I'm very, very confident on the Cowboys' chances. And obviously, with the best kicker in the league, it'll be helpful in one-score games.
Yeah, and I have a lot of faith in Brian Schottenheimer. I was comparing him to what, his motivation and what he wants to do for this team and how, his, hype. I mean, he reminds me of what Dan Campbell's doing. And I'm not saying we're going to go the Dan Campbell way, but with him, I think I trust this team. If they made the playoffs, I trust his mentality, to get Dallas more ready in the postseason. I really think with him, I think we could get to the NFC Championship. I honestly think it's going to happen soon. I'm not saying we'll win the Super Bowl soon, but I think we can at least make the NFC title game soon. Get over that hump and worry about the rest. Maybe even make the Super Bowl that year. But there are obviously some issues, but I think this is a good team that can be in the mix to win the division and make the playoffs and do more after that. But I think the max is a divisional appearance. I think that's the ceiling for them. I think the lowest would be them having the 7-10 season they had, maybe 6-11 season around what they had last year. And that's honestly is if the offense gets hurt, Dak doesn't play well, or the defense flat out just sucks again. And with the offense being good, but I don't think that stuff will happen. I think what's going to happen will happen. But honestly, what can go wrong will go wrong. That could be the case this year with Dallas. But I think if that's the case, I think that would more happen towards that's usually placement towards the postseason. But hey, if we make the playoffs and we're like a 6 seed losing in the first round, I'd be like, hey, we made it, didn't we? We weren't supposed to go far. I mean, but I think Dallas will be a good squad this year, and no, that is not delusional. That is a good take. I mean, crap, I had Philadelphia in the playoffs, and I have Dallas missing, but I honestly think that Dallas can make it too, and make some noise there. But I have faith in Shoddy and what he's done. You can't do much when you have Eberflus and Kenneth Murray running the show last year. So, anywho, now we're moving on to the third team in the NFC East. The New York Giants. Now, I think I changed maybe to 7-10, but we'll go ahead and just say 8-9. Because either way, this team is going to be better than last year. This is going to be one of those years where I think this will be one of those teams where it's going to be like, hey, look, you did much better with the talent. Now you kind of got to get grouped up again and go after it next year and make the playoffs. And this team, I think will be turning some stuff around this year, and I think for years to come. Jackson Dart, obviously, with John Harbaugh leading the way for the head coach. He did great with Baltimore. Now he's got a young quarterback and a good running back with Cam Scatterbo sitting there. And also you've got what are you? That camera you're moving around. It sounds like a bunch of noises were being made.
Wait, it might be. Is that a little fan?
Is that fan that I heard?
Oh, it might be. You want to turn off the fan?
Well, if you're getting hot in there, I ain't going to complain.
Oh, okay. It's also because my phone's on the charger and it's not long enough to reach the table, so I have to hold it in my hand.
All right, that's fine. I'll ignore it if it gets way too much. But back to the Giants, they've got Malik Neighbors. We'll see what he does, if he can stay healthy. He's a very good wide receiver, possibly top 10, and when he's healthy, he kind of proved to be maybe even top 5 that first rookie year. But that's kind of happens with rookies. Tight end, you got Isaiah Likely. Coming in from the Ravens, going. I don't even technically we would call it following John Harbaugh because that's more of a college term, but maybe you could say it. I don't know. Defensive wise, you don't have Dexter Lawrence anymore, but you've got some great additions. You've got what are we gonna call is Ardell Reese? Is he on there? I want to say he is. Okay, yes. Got it right that time.
There you go.
You've got him. You got a good rookie from Ohio State. Now they didn't get Caleb Downs for some reason. Thank the Lord. We got him, so you're gonna have him, Sonny Styles, and we'll talk about him in a moment with the Commanders. And you've got Caleb Downs all in the same league, so that will be something to see from this developed New York Giants defense. The defensive front's also good, especially with Abdul Carter. They got last year in the first round from Penn State, who people have been comparing to Micah Parsons. So I think this Giants team will be developed this year. They'll be a good enough squad to get 7 to 8 wins, maybe even get a winning record. But I don't think they'll make the playoffs. But they'll be competitive with some good teams. They'll be much better this year. But as hey, please go back to 0-17 because I don't like the Giants being that. I don't like the Giants being relevant at all. Especially as I don't really like the Giants, obviously as a Cowboys fan. But of course, since we beat them so much, I don't hate them as much. As it looks like. And hopefully we keep that up this year, especially when we hopefully beat them week 1, which I am predicting us to. I'm predicting us to sweep them again this year until further notice. Last year, I'm not going to really fully count because we sat our backups in and we didn't look like we really cared to win. And it looks like the Giants also didn't really care about tanking, I guess, anymore. Anyways, what do you think about these Giants, Steven?
Oh, these Giants. They're good. They're going to be better. There's more talent. Obviously, it looked likely coming in with Harbaugh and also Patrick Ricard, the fullback coming in with Harbaugh. But there's a lot to be confident about, honestly, if you're a New York fan. They won't be good enough for the playoffs, but yeah, they'll actually be a middle of the road team, which is better than what they could have said in these past 8 years. Take away 1 year, more than 8 years. It's been 10 years.
Really since the Odell day, really Odell and Manning days. Yeah.
But yeah.
Anywho, well, Yeah, Giants kind of just basically this is gonna be a better year. You've got talent now. See what you can do with it going on. But I'm sure this record would please Giants fan after the trouble they've gone through. But if as a Cowboys fan, I really hope y'all stay back. I really hope y'all have another bad year. Anywho, next up we got the Commanders sitting at 6-11, fourth in the NFC East, and I just don't know how much. It's just the Commanders seem to always have that year where it's like, hey, you look good. Oh, you made it there. Oh, well, what about the next year? Oh no, we sucked. That seems to go about every 4 or 5 years, and that's about what happened 2 years ago. And now you had injuries. Jay Daniels could be another Robert Griffin. I'm not going to go based off 1 year about that, but he also, when he played, he didn't look like the same Jay Daniels some of the time. And that could be an issue also with Terry McLaurin not looking like he wanted to play about half the time because due to extension reasons. And then also you got Jacoby Krosky-Merritt, which is pretty good. Had a pretty solid rookie year last year for a running back, and now he's coming into this year with maybe some high expectations. And you have a defense that will be struggling, I think. But we'll see what they can do. Sonny Styles coming in from Ohio State, trying to help that team out. They're bringing in now Stephon Diggs, so that could maybe help them out. So the offense has a question, the defense is a question. I think about 6 wins is where they stand, and maybe they'll kind of get back to their 2024 self maybe next year under Dan Quinn. But last year I had them higher. This year I have them lower. So what do we think about the Commanders, Steven?
Yeah, they're going to be the 4th place in the division. I don't know. I'm not sure they're going to get the 6 wins. I'm not too confident about this team, especially this defense. Yes, I know they've got Sonny Styles now, but really, it's just awful last year, and I think they'll continue to be awful this year. Maybe they can pick up a couple wins, but certainly not enough to contend for the playoffs, and it's tough. I mean, being a playoff team, an NFC Championship team or championship qualifying team just 2 years ago, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, they must have sold something to get that season. Honestly,
yeah,
they must have been like, someone must have given an option. We're gonna suck for the next. You'll okay. How about this? Before the rookie season, they were like, okay, how about this? This year you'll make the NFC Championship. You'll finally get over that drought. You'll win a playoff game, get over that drought, but you'll suck for the next 5 years. Would you take it? I'd take it as a Cowboys fan. Get over the NFC Championship? Maybe. Maybe I'd take it. Maybe.
I'd take a Super Bowl for that.
That's true. Maybe I'd take a Super Bowl. Maybe not 5 years. I'd say, okay, I'd suck maybe the next 2 years, maybe 3. But as a Cowboys fan, if we say, hey, you make the Super Bowl, you got to be set for the next 5 years. I'd be like,
sweet.
Awesome. I'll go for it. That's fine with me. As long as we can maybe rebuild it. As long as we can turn around the next year, the next 5 after that 5 years are over. But the Commanders, they'll maybe get back to they'll get back to that 2024 self soon. But I don't think it'll be this year. But they also surprised people last year with how bad they were. So maybe they'll be surprising people with how good they'll be. But I don't know. I don't think that'll happen this year.
I don't think that's happening.
Okay, here we go. Next up, we got the Chicago Bears sitting at a record of 12-5, first in the NFC North at a 2 seed in the NFC playoffs. They're back to what they were last year. Honestly, I don't really see them having a bad year. I don't. Caleb Williams, I mean, I understand he could be on the technically overrated side, but he's still a good quarterback. I think he's a top 10 type quarterback. It's like top 10 worthy. I think he makes magical plays. He comes in clutch. He's a good quarterback. You got DeAndre Swift in the backfield. Ben Johnson has done great so far as a head coach. You don't have DJ Moore anymore, but you got Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. You got one of the best tight end duos of Cole Kmet and Colson Loveland. And then you got a defense that is capable of making great plays, and if they can be consistent throughout the year, they can help the Bears too, and I think they will be. I think they'll go 12-5, first in the NFC North, like I said, and get that 2 seed. And I have confidence in Chicago this year, especially under Ben Johnson, and we'll see how much that takes them this year. But Steven, what do we think about Chicago?
Oh, Trey, here's what's tough about this year's NFC.
Yeah.
Oh, so many teams that are good, and I do not have Chicago winning the division.
Okay. That division's tough, so I'll respect that.
I have Chicago in third place in the
Well,
division.
what do you have? What type of how many wins do you think you would have them?
In my head, probably like 10 to 11 in third
Division's
place.
tough.
And
That could
guess
happen.
what? At third place in that division, I think they sit out right outside the playoffs.
You think Chicago missed because how good the FC is?
And
Well,
and it's a good team. It's a really good team. We know it's a good team. We saw them last year, and they were really good.
yeah.
But I mean, it comes down to small factors, and this actually isn't that small of a factor. This is a huge factor. Chicago's got the hardest schedule next season. They've got the hardest schedule, and that's good. Unfortunately, that's going to be enough for me to knock them out of the playoffs.
With how good, yeah, that is true. I mean, having the toughest schedule could be a big thing, but I do think there'll be enough to be good. I think a good squad this year. But hey, I mean, you do have around the same amount of wins. It's just like we both can agree on this NFC is going to be a tough conference to compete in. I think it's going to be a tough with all the. That's why Dallas got left out with 10 wins. That's why that's why I'm even gonna leave out. Well, you'll see in a minute who I leave out. But next up, we got the second team in the NFC North, the Detroit Lions. I have them as the 6th seed in the NFC playoffs, sitting 11-6. Offense is gonna be pretty good again. The question is with this defense, how good will they be? You got Aiden Hutchinson if he can stay healthy. You've got other big factors. You got a secondary that has some trouble, but you do have Kyle Joseph, Kirby Joseph, sitting there at a D-back, and he's got some pretty good stuff with him. He was great on interceptions a couple years ago. I think he could be back to that this year. With this offense led by Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the best running backs in the country. I think I have him the best running back right now in football. Just about a little in front of Bijan. Receiver-wise, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. You as well have Isaac Tesla, former Arkansas Razorback, can make crazy catches. You also have tight end of Sam Laporta. This O-line also has been solid throughout years, but the question is with this defense, how good will they be? Now, how good will this offense function? Now they don't have Campbell, I think, calling plays anymore, but now that's the question. I think that won't I don't think we'll put them in that 2024 Lions team. But I think it will get them in the playoffs and get them back to back to a little bit more what they were what we wanted them, what really Lions fans and wanted them last year to be 11 a good playoff team and get to 11 or 12 wins, and I think they'll sit second in the NFC North behind the Chicago Bears and at least splitting them. But I think that's where the Lions will be this year, and I think we'll see them in the postseason playing Philadelphia as when they're since they're the 3 seed. So, Steven, what do we think about the Campbell's Cats this year?
I think those Cats are gonna prowl all the way to the first place.
You think they'll get first place?
You almost thought I said first seed, didn't you?
Oh, no. I was about to say. I was like, I mean, I could, if their defense really gets going and their offense is very good, get back to that 1 seed. But I don't think that'll happen. But go carry on.
I think they're going to be first place in the NFC North.
Possible. Very good.
All they need to do is stay healthy. This is an awesome roster. It's been an awesome roster. All they need to do is stay healthy.
Yeah.
The former Razorback Tesla really stepped up last season. Now he's wide receiver 3 on that. With Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and obviously you got one of the best running backs in the league, Jahmyr Gibbs, who will be top 5 pick, top 3 pick maybe in fantasy. And then obviously a great defense. Key word, when healthy. And my rankings are assuming that these teams will be healthy, all of these teams. we know at least one team or at least a couple teams are going to be plagued, but we don't know which ones yet. That's why I have the Lions as the first place, because untapped potential with full health, they are the best team in the NFC North, I think.
Yeah, I definitely could see it. I think them and Chicago really rule the. I think more of the division. Now you can maybe put Green Bay in the mix, depending on what the defense does and all that. But we'll talk about them in just a second. But I do think the Lions are very capable of being in the winning the division. Based off when I did schedule predictions, I have the Bears just getting one more win over the Lions and getting that second seed in the NFC North and. Or second team in the NFC North and being the 6th seed, still making the playoffs comfortably there, and maybe possibly making some noise. But they'll have to go to Philadelphia, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But here we go. Now, Green Bay. I've got them sitting out of the postseason this year. They've been barely in it the past 3 years. I have them sitting out of it this year. They don't have the same defensive coordinator. Micah won't be coming back for a bit. And what are we doing? I mean, Josh Jacobs, didn't he get in trouble for like hitting his wife or something like that? I mean, he's going to be sitting. I mean, this Packers team is a question. They'll be 10-7. They're going to win a good amount of games, but I mean, it's the tiebreaker. They're just going to be barely out of the playoffs. Once they get everyone back, I think they'll be a good team. They'll get 10 wins but Jordan Love, he's inconsistent, but I think he's a good quarterback. You now have receivers of Christian Watson. You don't have Romeo Doubs anymore. Christian Watson's got to stay healthy. I just don't know if this team will be good enough to get to the playoffs. But sitting at 10-7 can get you there. But I think they'll once again be snuck out, and I think they'll be at around that range they were last year when they went 9-7-1, and they'll be out of the same range this year. I think it's now with. Matt LaFleur as a head coach. I think that's why I trust them to at least stay in that range of being playoff contenders. But I think they'll be fringe wild card contenders, and it's kind of a question. They have kind of some question marks that could keep them from me thinking they can get a lot of more wins. And I didn't think that I think Dallas could go to Lambeau and beat them, but I have my troubled faith of Dallas winning in Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers, though, I think they go third in the NFC North, and we'll see how good that defense is without the coordinator anymore, and we'll see how good Jordan Love and that offense can be. How consistent can they stay? Josh Jacobs, when he's in, he's a very good running back, but there's just some questions and consistency issues from this Green Bay team that could keep them out of the postseason, and I think that will be the case. But still very stacked NFC, and that's will be the reason. What are we thinking, though, about Green Bay, the Packers this year, Steven?
Can I admit something, Trey?
Yeah, you can admit anything. You're on the stream. Tell it to the people.
I might have been a little too confident on Green Bay going into the stream.
Yeah?
The problems you just laid out are real. Very real, and in a conference like this where it's gonna be razor sharp, they could be sitting. I think that you have changed my mind, Trey. I really think they're going to be sitting outside. I think they're going to be the team sitting outside, and I honestly think Philadelphia is going to be the team that sneaks in.
You think they'll have them over? Hey, it's fine. You can change your predictions. It's okay because the season doesn't start till 9 to 12 or whatever. I don't know. But yeah.
And can I say one more thing about Green Bay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I recall, Jerry, a soundbite from Jerry Jones. You mind if I quote it right quick?
Yeah, what he said was it about Michael?
Well, yeah. Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
So I believe Jerry said, he said, "Well, I was watching the boys play at the Star.
Oh yeah.
I was watching them practice at the Star in Frisco, Texas." And I turned to Steven, and I said, Michael's gonna tear it to you.
And what happened?
And look what happened. Whatever Jerry wants, Jerry gets.
You got that right, exactly. That's a great quote from Jerry Jones, also Stephen Edwards saying it there. But he's right though. Michael tore his ACL, and there we go. What Jerry wants, Jerry gets, and now that's going to hurt the Packers this year. But that's always great to hear that quote. All right, next up, after Green Bay, got one more team in the NFC North. That's the Minnesota Vikings. I think they go 8-9, around the same range they did last year. Fourth in the NFC North. They do not go. Did not go last year. They do go last this year. It's more of can Kyler Murray, how good will he be this year? Because I feel like he could just pull some stuff where it's like he's going to pull inconsistent stuff, but he also could go off. He could be pulling a Sam Darnold. Really, I mean, honestly, that could happen. I'm just not going to predict it. The predictions, yeah, JD, I would love the Packers out of the playoffs. That would be great, especially if they did it to us a few years ago. And I wouldn't have to worry about playing them again. But most likely, if we're both in the playoffs, we're probably both going to be wildcard teams. So, anywho, they got Justin Jefferson, obviously one of the best receivers in the country, in the league. And then you have Aaron Jones, who isn't the same Packer anymore as he used to be. You got T.J. Hawkinson at tight end. You got a defense led by Brian Flores that has some pretty good talent on that side of the ball that has been able to make great plays. We put up 26 on them last year, but they were able to help. They were able to kind of contain us to field goals in that last part of the game. They can blitz really well. This is a squad that can, I think, has some defensive good stuff with them, but I think they have some consistency issues on that side. Because last year they were supposed to be better on defense, and then they waited till later in the year when they were basically out of the playoffs to start actually playing well on defense. And then the offense-wise, really, I don't know how much trust I can give in Kyler Murray or J.J. McCarthy or anybody that's quarterback. And but with Kevin O'Connell, I can maybe trust this team to go. But they're going to be 8-9, staying fourth in the NFC North, and they'll just be like a. But I think they'll just be like a team. They'll be like just eliminated and hope for the best next year. But Steven, what are we thinking about the Vikings and Skull this year?
Again, it's so dang tough to predict these teams because they're good. This is a good team we're talking about. This is a really good team we're talking about. But still,
it's tough to win the NFC.
The overall talent of the conference, they sit outside. They sit in last place in the division, sit outside. I think they can go anywhere from 9 to 10 wins this season. Mm-hmm. But that's not good enough, unfortunately, for Minnesota. It's not good enough. That's what makes it tough. And then Kyle, I want to comment there's no way JJ can start over Kyler, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, Kyler Murray potentially could be a Sam Darnold, or he potentially could be a 9. I mean, it's no in between at this point.
That's right. I just think he's too good of a quarterback. Kyler is for there to be even a battle.
Yeah. If he could stay healthy too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my nickel and dime on the Minnesota Vikings.
All right. Well, there you have it with the NFC North. The Bears and Lions, I think, potentially are the best teams. I think both will make the playoffs. I think the Bears slightly win the division based off schedule predictions, and Packers and Vikings sit out due to how hard the NFC is, and also questions with the quarterback and consistency issues from the Vikings and the consistency trust from the Packers. Now, we got 2 more divisions left before we move on to the award predictions. And, Steven, we really got to probably get this going because I've got this thing to go. I got to be at this thing at 6 for my family birthday dinners. So, but we'll probably be done. We should be done by 5:30. So, but we got enough time, I think. But just going to have to put this on alert. Next up, Carolina Panthers, and finally, I think we're going to have a winning record champion, even though it's 9-8, and usually you see that as a last place team in the division, but the NFC South weak, sitting at first in the NFC South. Yes, I have them in the playoffs, the 4 seed in the NFC playoffs. I do think Carolina is going to be developed this year, especially with Bryce Young, I think, being more developed. Chuba Hubbard coming in from the running back situation. Rico Dowdle's not there anymore. He's in the Pittsburgh. Tet McMillan. It's hard to pronounce his first name. But Tet McMillan, receiver. He had a pretty good rookie year, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, and taking going to probably either have a sophomore slump or be pretty good next year. Then you have the defense, which has been a pretty solid defense for years to come. I think this team honestly is going to do enough, especially with this division, to go 9-8 and get first in the NFC South. I have a lot of faith in Dave Canales to get this team, a little more better each year, and I think that will be the case this year with Carolina. Bryce has been better as years have come by, and I think with the Red Rifle of Andy Dalton starting that time, I think it's been great since. So Carolina, I think, takes the division, sitting 4 seed and playing. I can't tell you yet, but for 9-8, sitting in the playoffs and potentially have a chance to win the playoff game. They almost beat the Rams last year too. How crazy was that? Imagine how it would have been if the Rams had lost that game. Maybe because Seahawks probably would have won, but who knows? All right, Steven, what are we thinking about Carolina?
Well, before the NFC South is a division we can try and breeze by. But I think the Saints are going to the division.
Yeah, honestly, that's that. This is like all up for grabs division. I ain't gonna hate on any pick you take unless you say that unless you say one of the teams is going 13 wins or something.
Well, I have the New Orleans at 13. What? Nah, I'm just like.
I have them undefeated. So.
No, but Bryce Young, he's good. He's a good quarterback. I don't know if I trust him as much as I trust the second year of Tyler Shuck. And then some solid weapons. But overall, I think the Saints improved over the offseason, and I think New Orleans has got a better thing cooking than Carolina, honestly. And I think they'll win the division.
Well, if we're going to go and talk about New Orleans, I'll go ahead and go there. I have them barely missing the playoffs, since we're saying because of the division champion, not barely missing the playoffs due to overall, but because of the division. The Saints will be a better team this year, and I think Saints fans would want to win this division since it's easy. But I do think they wouldn't be too mad going 8-9. Well, actually, they kind of did last year, so maybe they wouldn't be. Maybe they were trying to actually go for the playoffs. But it really depends how much trust they have in Tyler Shuck, and if he can have a really good year, I think they'll be fine with it. If they can have developed year. And now you have Travis Etienne coming from the Jaguars over there. I'm not going to say anything about Alvin Kamara because he barely plays anymore because of how hurt he gets. And you have Chris Olave. I have drafted him on fantasy because I trust him not to be getting thrown hospital balls. And he's a good receiver when healthy. And now you don't have Sheed anymore. He's on Seattle, but he's a good receiver there. And Olave is going to be good. You don't have Taysom Hill anymore. That does suck for Saints, but it's okay. The defense, I think, will be better as well. Cam Jordan's still sitting in that defensive line, I believe, and you still got a good squad there and a defense that I think will be better. And I think they'll be good enough to get 8-9 and second in the NFC South. But this will be a good 8-9. I think this will be one that I think they'll be at least competitive for the year throughout the year. Won't start off bad, and they'll have some good things to look forward to for the next year and possibly make the playoffs there. But I think the Saints can also win the division and make the playoffs. It's going to be about anyone's game really this year, at least between the Panthers and Saints. But we'll talk about Tampa and Atlanta in just a moment. What are we thinking about? You actually kind of talked about New Orleans, but do you have anything else to talk about New Orleans wise?
I think New Orleans will be good.
That's all you're gonna say?
Yeah, let's get this moving.
All right. I got time.
Okay.
I understand what you mean. Okay. You already kind of did mention the Saints. Tampa Bay 7-10, third in the NFC North. I don't really know what their deal is with Vita Vea. They're apparently not trading him. I found that today. Baker is maybe he'll return back to his last year's self at the beginning of last year at least. Before not doing so well towards the end of the year, the Tampa Bay eventually fell off as due more to Bucky Irving's injuries as well. And now you don't have Mike Evans. That's a hurting point. Tampa is not really in for as good of a season as you thought maybe last year they were. They have some commotion going on. I don't know how good Ibuka will be this year. He looked pretty good at the beginning of last year, and then they fell apart. I don't know if I can trust Todd Bowles to keep this team together because he couldn't last year either. So I don't really know, honestly. But I think based off looking at their schedule, I don't think they're capable of beating over the Saints and getting enough wins over the Saints and the Panthers. And I don't even know what will happen between those matchups. I'm sure they'll probably split like everybody does in that division, but I think the Panthers I had weeping the Falcons because they somehow always beat them. But also they're going to be better this year. And we'll talk about Atlanta in just a moment. As you can see, they're going to be worse than last year due to the record I have the Buccaneers being, and I have the Falcons fourth, and we'll talk about them in a moment. But Tampa Bay, I'm not really seeing going to be anywhere near the playoffs this year unless you want to count division status. What are we thinking about Tampa this year? Are you agreeing, or are you thinking they'll be better in terms of record?
They might be slightly better, but yeah, just like kind of around that record. They got offensive weapons, and I like their defense, but it's a far cry away from what they were doing at the beginning of the season last year.
Definitely, I do think that.
Yeah. All right, to Atlanta.
All right, Atlanta fourth. We got fourth in the NFC South, sitting at a 5-12. The real thing is the quarterbacks. They got their third string, I think, projected starter now because Tua I think got hurt again.
That's right, Cooper Rush, baby.
Cooper Rush. Actually, I don't even think it's him. I think it's someone else.
Might be Jack Strand.
Yeah, it is. I think it is him. Bijan, obviously great running back, second best in the league, next to over Jameer, arguably the best receiver running back in the league. If you really wanted to say, got extended. You got receivers such as Drake London. If he can stay healthy, he's pretty good. And then you also have that defense with Jesse Bates. In that defense they've got some good skill. Raheem Morris isn't there anymore, Stefanski, but he's defensive base, so he can help that defense. But I just think with the quarterback situation with Michael Penix and Tua, I think that's going to be a question on the offensive side, and also how good will they be with Stefanski. As the Stefanski's had good defenses, but do you remember what last time? This really feels like a lot like the Browns, Steven. You have a really good offensive player, and then you have a defense that's capable of doing stuff, but look what record you're going to get out of it with Stefanski. This is the record you're going to get.
Yeah, and it's not going to be good enough for the playoffs.
No, besides maybe that 1 year when they had Joey Dimes, that's about it.
There you go.
So, what do you think about Atlanta, though, this year?
Yeah, there's a lot of they'll have a solid defense. I don't know if it'll be great, but it'll be solid. And then obviously plenty to be excited about with Bijan or Drake London or Kyle Pitts, but that quarterback situation it's scary. I mean, there's none of these quarterbacks I'm particularly too confident in. It saddens me because I loved Michael Penix in college, but I don't know if that in the NFL, that's a different league. But yeah,
it is absolutely. Yeah, I just don't have much faith in Atlanta, and it's sad to say because I thought after last year I thought I was going to have to predict them. I thought I was going to predict them to make the playoffs, but especially with this division being up for grabs. But I think they only have 5 wins. Okay, now it's time for the finale of the NFC, the gauntlet of the NFC, one of the best divisions in the league, NFC North, and as you should expect, the 1 seed goes to the LA Rams. First in the NFC West, 14-3. You arguably could have them even a better record. I have them losses to Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Seattle. Philadelphia because they struggle, and I think Philadelphia potentially could beat them at their own place, and they're good this year. 14-3, first in the NFC West. I already said that. About every single strength you could think of. Quarterback Matthew Stafford just won MVP. He's going to, I think, have a good year as well. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, a pretty solid running back duo there. Receiver-wise, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, pretty good receivers there. Devontae can stay healthy. And then you've also got Terrace Ferguson as well as a tight end. He's been developing tight end as years go by. Sean McVay is a really good coach, knows how to prepare guys, and knows how to has won a Super Bowl and made a couple in his lifetime. Been a great coach throughout his life, especially when he was a coordinator with Washington. And then you also got a fantastic defense, especially with Trent McDuffie and the dog of Myles Garrett coming to the D-line. Maybe Aaron Donald. I think he potentially is signing, according to Rex Ryan, with coming out of retirement, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So the LA Rams, are we agreeing? Are we seeing them being like this, Steven?
They're disgustingly good.
I know.
It's just so dang good. I don't think not a flaw this team has.
Not really.
Not a flaw this team has. It's going to be tough to beat them. It's going to be so tough to beat them.
And Dallas has got to go to them this year, too.
It's, I mean, just somehow they improved off of last year. It's just going to be so scary. Yeah, I think really we could see them become one of the greatest NFL teams ever in the history of the American football. They could be one of the greatest teams we ever seen. So.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be. Who knows? They could maybe be the Miami Dolphins again, that undefeated, or maybe they could be the New England Patriots of 2007 again. But I don't know. They have to win the Super Bowl, and I mean to be that. I mean honestly, if they only win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, there's some teams maybe that could beat them, but it's the NFL. But I mean, honestly, if they don't at least make the Super Bowl, I mean, I don't even know what you'll do. I mean, honestly,
Super Bowls are still tough to come by.
They are, but if you don't at least make it, I think with this team, that just doesn't seem right for LA. Because usually, I don't even know how. And they're great special teams as well. All right, moving on now to Seattle. Second place in the NFC West, 5 seed in the NFC playoffs. And look at that, 5 seed with a record of 13-4, and that's the playoff format for you. They're going to be a good team this year again. Sam Darnold, I don't see any regression from him. He didn't regress after Minnesota. Don't see it with Mike McDonald as head coach. Now, sure, Clint Kubiak's gone. I still think you got talent. You lost Kent Walker, but you have Price from the rookie. And as well as Zach Charbonnet. You got JSN, former reigning offensive player of the year. You got some great talent there. AJ Barner coming in, Cooper Kupp, the veteran. And you got Jake Bobo, who gets one of the most glazed quarterback tight ends, but it's always funny. Defense is unstoppable almost. With they call the dark side. Tank Lawrence there. You've got a great defensive backfield. There, Mike McDonald has done a great job with his defense, leading this dark side. I mean, it is something. I think maybe we could see this be better than the Legion of Boom years to come. I don't know, because they won a Super Bowl the first year under or second year under McDonald. So I don't even know. Well, who knows what will happen? But this team has definitely has a lot of talent on that side of the ball. And, we'll see what they can do from years to come. But we'll see what they do this year. But it's going to be hard when they play the Rams. 13-4, I think they'll go. And they'll get second in the NFC West. Comfortably in the playoffs with a 5 seed. Now, what are we thinking, Steven?
Well, defending Super Bowl champions, and nothing really changed other than losing your Super Bowl MVP. It's just going to be another year of absolute cinema matchups against the Rams. And man, the LA is going to be the favorite going into the year, but there's no reason for Seahawks fans not to be overly confident that they could win it again. In my opinion, they're still going to be one of the best teams, and they're going to be the Rams' biggest competitor for a spot in the Super Bowl, just as they were last year, and they ended up beating the Rams.
I mean, I would have them as a 2 seed if it wasn't for the fact of the playoff format. So, it'll be like the Rams like last year. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We got 49ers still in the playoffs. That's how deep we are in this division. Steven, holy crap.
Yeah, it's so tough. It's so unbelievably tough.
I mean, this division, it's also just, I didn't think a division could honestly be this tough, and now we'll get into this the very disappointing part in a minute. But the 11-6, third in the NFC West, 7th seed in the NFC playoffs. Brock Purdy, if he can stay healthy, he'll be good. Same with Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle possibly. Now they have Deebo Samuel coming back to the Niners. He got signed a few days ago. And this defense, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, will they stay healthy? This team is this team easily can just like snap like that. Kyle Shanahan already getting injured in a car accident.
Yeah.
That is something about. I know. It's good. He's okay though, but the Niners already with playoff trouble, and or not. Sorry, injury trouble, and but they somehow squeeze it out. I mean, if they can do something if they stay healthy. But honestly, I think overall George Kittle isn't the same anymore. Debo's not the same anymore. I don't know how much what offense weapons he has. Defense can be inconsistent at times. But if Bosa and Warner and all them can do well, this team can maybe do some stuff. But it's gonna be hard in this division. It's gonna be hard in this conference. But I think they sneak in the playoffs. Steven, what are we thinking about the Niners?
The Niners, they'll be in the playoffs, I believe. They got a really good team. Again, if they can be healthy, and that's always a big question for San Francisco. But if they're healthy, and again, like I said, I am assuming all these teams are going to be healthy going through the season. They're going to be a playoff team. They poached Odigizua, my beloved, from the Cowboys. That was sad.
Yeah, they did. But we got D winners out of them though.
There you go.
And he'll be
good. But very, very good team. Very good team with Brock Purdy leading the way, and then one of the best backups in the league, Mac Jones.
Yeah, he maybe just needed to be on an actual competitive team, to actually be looking good. All right, so we talked about how really good this division was. Well, we didn't mention the bad part, did we?
No, we didn't.
Arizona Cardinals sitting at 2-15, fourth in the NFC West. You got Sid the Sloth at quarterback, the quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes that played pretty well with Carson Beck last year. Throughout the playoffs, kind of helped that team out, and then you got Jeremiah Love, sitting from Notre Dame, at rookie running back. Then you have Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't trust that much. Trey McBride's really good of a tight end. And the defense is
the best one in the league. They got that. They got that going.
They do. It's like the freaking Browns and like the freaking what we just mentioned, the Falcons. They have a really good player, just they don't use anything. The Dolphins. What's up with like the worst teams in the league getting to have? What did they do exactly? You got to have something. So I guess you got to have a really good player. I guess like you got to. I mean, the Falcons aren't the worst team in the league, but think about it. The Falcons have freaking Bijan, and then you have Trey McBride, and the Browns are like they had Myles Garrett all those years. Like, what is going on? What's up with the bad teams having like a really good player? I mean. One of the best players, and that's like their only good player. I'll never understand, but that's what the Cardinals have, and their defense is going to be. I think they got some skill there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So I just don't think they're going to be good this year, and hope for the best next year. Cardinals, what are you thinking, Steven?
For the sake of moving on, and I don't really want to talk about the Cardinals. Let's move on.
All right, there you go. That's two. It's just not really much to say. They're going to be 2-15. There's that last in the division. All right, now it's time to move on to award predictions. And Steven, before I move on to my award predictions, do you want to go over yours?
Sure. Okay.
Remember, it's what is it? I think we had 6 awards predictions. The rookie,
yes.
Offensive and defensive player, and rookies, MVP, and coach of the year. All right, go.
I'll start with my rookies of the year. I know my defensive rookie of the year, and I've been going back and forth on my offensive rookie of the year. My defensive rookie of the year is going to be Caleb Downs of the Cowboys. He's going to have a huge role on that defense, and I think he'll come through for Dallas. And then the offensive rookie of the year race, it could be a skill position player. If it were a quarterback, I'd think it would be Fernando. But I think it's going to be Jeremiah Love. I think Arizona's going to have that going for them too, the offensive rookie of the year.
Okay, yeah.
And then going on to my defensive player of the year, is it? And we have defensive, offense, and coach of the year. Okay, yeah. My defensive player of the year, a couple names I had in mind were Pat Surtain and Myles Garrett And even Carson Schlesinger, I think he's going to make a jump. I think he's going to be one of the best players in the league, or even an Aiden Hutchinson. But I think I draw it down to Will Anderson. That Texas defense is going to be awesome, and I think he's going to put up big numbers this season for Houston. My offensive player of the year, that one's interesting. It's going to be really tough to draw it down to one player, but I think it's going to be one Puka Nacua. I think with Stafford throwing him the ball, he's been in the running the past couple of seasons for the award. I think he comes through and wins it this season. My coach of the year, I'm gonna have to hand it to. Ooh, this is tough. Maybe in lieu of my pick to win their division in a tough conference, I think I'd have to go. Not to be biased, I think I'd have to go Brian Schottenheimer.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see it. I mean, if he turns around this team, helps them do well, I could see it. I don't know why he's not really a at least top 5 favorite, honestly.
And then my MVP, I think this is because Buffalo is going to be the 1 seed, in my opinion, in the AFC. I think we're going to see another Josh Allen MVP.
Okay, there we go. Those are some good takes. Let me go ahead and get you my award predictions. And Steven, I have to say, I've got about 3, I think, the same as you. Okay. And that's starting with the MVP, Josh Allen. I think I agree with you on that. I think Josh is going to have his second. I think he's worthy enough to have his second. And Buffalo is going to be a 2 seed this year. Why not him get it? I think he's going to be they're going to have a good team. Usually when they're pretty good, Josh Allen's the reason, a big reason, and I think he gets it again. Lions running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously I think he gets offensive player of the year. Not obviously, I mean, but offensive player of the year. I think he's going to be explosive this year. I think it's about time he gets one. He's one of the best running backs in the league. The Lions are going to be back in the playoffs. He's going to really help this offense out. I think he gets it. Defensive player of the year, I think I agree. Will Anderson Jr., that Texas defense is going to be almost unstoppable, and at least to get through, and he's going to be a big reason of it, and I think he's a high favorite right now. I think he gets the defensive player of the year. Offensive rookie of the year, I think it goes to Saints wide receiver Jordan Tyson. I think he's going to be a big reason why the Saints I think he's going to be a big reason why the Saints offense is better this year. Why they're going to be capable of competing in the division and actually having a good start throughout the year. And I think he gets offensive rookie of the year. And I agree with you with big goal Caleb Downs, defensive rookie of the year, Cowboys. I think he's going to be really good under Christian Parker. I think he might get hurt maybe, but it won't be for long. And I think he's going to have some good plays. He's going to get some good takeaways, and him and Christian Parker have formed a good connection I've seen, and I think he gets Defensive Rookie of the Year. And Coach of the Year, I give the Ravens head coach Jesse Minter. He's going to get them back into their old self. He's going to get the defense to be good again, and I think he's going to get voted to be he's going to be voted to be Coach of the Year, I think. I think he's going to be a good turnaround for the Baltimore Ravens and get them back to what they want to be. But anywho, Steven, what we're thinking about before we go with our finale, what is your Super Bowl and your Super Bowl champion? I'm going to give my playoff prediction briefly after you finish yours.
Okay. My Super Bowl team and my I'll mention my NFC and AFC finalists actually.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a rematch in the NFC, Seattle and LA, and then I think it's going to be. I think Kansas City's going to have their ways and sneak into the championship game against the Houston Texans.
I can definitely see it. Houston, you think they get over the hump?
I think so, and I think it'll be Houston going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And I think LA gets the best of Seattle this time around. Goes to the Super Bowl, and come on now. I have the LA Rams winning the Super Bowl. I think they're just way, way too good.
I agree. They're very good this year.
Even better than the Dodgers.
Yeah, those LA teams stacking up stuff, aren't they? Yeah. All right, time for my playoff prediction. Before we end the stream, I appreciate everyone joining us here. Here we go. You've got the first wild card. We're taking NFC wild card. You can see the bracket, but I'm going to explain it. You got the Bears and the Niners. I got the Bears taking down San Francisco. I think there'll be one where the Bears come back. I've got the Eagles taking down the Lions. I think Philadelphia, if they're healthy and good enough to win in the playoffs game, I think they'll be good enough to win. I don't think it'll be like last year's drama, because last year they looked like they were falling off, about to fall off a cliff, and they didn't look like they wanted to. They got lost by the Niners. And I think the Seattle comfortably beats the Panthers, and that's that 5-4 matchup that shouldn't happen. AFC wildcard, I think the Bills take down the Jags. I think comfortably. I think the Texans take down New England, and I think that the Chiefs, if they're in the playoffs, they're not losing first round.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. NFC divisional. I think the Rams take down Seattle in the NFC divisional game. I think Philadelphia, if they're good enough to, I think that if they're good, I hate getting them in the NFC title game, but it's hard. It's hard. About every other year, and they usually do well in the playoffs. And this year, I think I have more confidence in them. A little more kind of commotion going down a little bit more, and I think they've got good talent. And we've seen more trust and readiness with Philadelphia under Sirianni when they're good. And Philadelphia takes control. They go to Chicago Soldier Field, and I think beat the Bears just barely there. That was no pun intended. Then I think the Chiefs fall short in the divisional round. I just don't think this Chiefs team. Which, hey, but I believe you, Steven. If they make the AFC Championship, will not surprise me one bit, because it is Mahomes. But I think this year is the team. This is the year that the Chiefs fall. We saw them miss the playoffs last year. I think this also is the year that they make the playoffs and don't make the AFC title game. I think Denver's also a really good squad, like I mentioned. I think they beat the Chiefs, and I think Buffalo beats Houston in a good matchup. A very good fight between Josh Allen going up. He gets a revenge from the first game of the year where I had the Texans losing to the Bills at home. Or Texans beating the Bills at home. I think the Bills get revenge and knock them out in the playoffs. I think also that Bills defense gets the CJ Stroud and forces him to have one of those playoff games he did last year. Maybe not 4 picks, but there we go. NFC title game. I think obviously the Rams beat the Eagles, and I think the Broncos take down the Bills. I think Bo Nix and Sean Payton get to the Super Bowl, and then I think the LA Rams win in a 1 seed versus 1 seed matchup, and me and Steven have the both Super Bowl champs as the Rams take down the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 61 at SoFi Stadium too.
Yeah. Who do you think would be your Super Bowl MVP
on ESPN? I mean, this is going to be probably with 2 defenses going at it. Honestly, I think I trust that offense to do well against Denver's defense, because I trust that Rams offense to dominate against a defense like that. I think it'll be I think it'll still be a good matchup. I think maybe better than last year's Super Bowl. But my Super Bowl MVP will probably be going to someone that I think on the offensive side. This year, and I think it's going to be. I think it's last time it went to Cooper Kupp when the Rams won one. I think I could see Puka Nacua shining bright in those lights, and having the Super Bowl MVP this year.
All right, maybe I could see it being, like you said, a defensive battle, and if it's that, Myles Garrett, Super Bowl MVP.
There we go. Like I said, if it's a defensive battle, it's going to be like that. But I think it won't be too heavily defense. I think it'll be like maybe a 27-17 game, where the Broncos defense offense will have some trouble, but they'll be able to at least get 17 points. But I think the Rams offense will be able to have some success against Denver's defense. But honestly, to contain 17 points, but I think those 27 points will be a reason of connections between Stafford and Bobby Puka, and I think he'll be good enough to get the MVP. But if honestly, Myles Garrett, very possible to get that Super Bowl MVP. But Steven, looks like the Rams. I mean, they're the best team right now in football right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, I do think so. Well, that's going to wrap up the stream. I want to thank everyone for joining. And Steven, thank you for being on the stream. That took about 2 hours. I thank you for that. When we get to talking, we get to talking. So
sure do.
Yeah, but it was fun to talk about football. I'm excited for NFL to start. Got the Hall of Fame game tonight. I'll probably watch a little bit of it. But we got preseason next 3 weeks, and then it's time for football. You'll have more NFL videos coming up, as well as some college videos, and we'll eventually we'll get some going on that on here on the channel. But also, NBA stream, you and me, eventually sometime before the season starts.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be absolute cinema.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
like those Rams Seahawks matchups.
Oh, those yeah, just like that. That's the next. Those are the Spurs Thunder game, basically the Rams Seahawks
That's
matchups,
right.
basically. All right. Well, thank you for all joining the stream, and Steven, thank you for joining. It was a pleasure to be on it with you.
Hey, the pleasure is all mine.
There we go. Yep, Steven. Is Me and you are Cowboys fans, and we're hoping for a successful Cowboys season. At least make the playoffs, and hopefully win the playoff game this year, and just like we did against old Tom Brady a couple years ago. So, but thank you so much for watching Dog Squad, and I will see you in the next video, next stream. Peace.